Redefining happiness in midlife. It's something that we've all got to come to terms with. And some of us are past midlife and some of us are on our way. And this is an important topic for everybody because, we're all in varying degrees of life. We're all in different places as human beings. And, what happens is your priorities will shift. When I was young, it was all about being carefree and doing what I wanted and playing, music and running around and it was wild times out on the Sunset Strip. And it was a time that I look back on very fondly. But, that's not a path that you can continue on for an entire life. I mean, you can be reckless for a time in your life, but man, these days you could be reckless one night and it'd be all over. So I don't recommend for anybody to do that. But man, it's okay to have your fun when you're young. It's okay to go out and do things. But always be careful. Now, the reality is your early definition of happiness, it's going to change because you're going to start to realize that those things that you thought made you happy, they really don't in the long run. And when the party's over and everybody leaves and the debris is left behind for you to clean up. And man, that debris could be physical debris. It's, remnants of a party. What would you have? Cigarettes and, beer bottles and booze bottles and, God knows what all over the place. And, you're there now having to clean up that mess. And your life can be similar. The damage and debris left behind by a careless lifestyle. Well, that can be something that you have to clean up in your life, in your mind, and in your state of being. And so, a lot of us are, haunted by our past. Some of us, look back fondly. But for some of us, there were traumatic things that happened back in those days. And, I would encourage everybody to learn to let go of things that were traumatic. And it can be a lot of baggage to carry around. We all make mistakes. You've got to learn to accept your mistakes. You've got to learn to be happy with who you are. And learn that, yeah, I made mistakes, but ultimately it's the mistakes and how I changed from them that define me. Now, if you're still wallowing in the mire and still cleaning up the debris, that's got to be a signal for you to know that you've got to make some change. And what do they say about change? If you do the same thing over and over again and expect different results, that is insanity. And so, man, if you're not getting the results in life that you want, if you're not living how you want to live, don't be afraid of change, because change could be the very thing that your life needs. if you're still doing the same thing in your 30s that you were doing in your 20s, if you're still trying to be a 20-year-old in your 40s and into your 50s, man, that's sort of a dead end. And I think it's important to, get that out of your system at some point in your life. But at some point, you've got to evolve. You've got to change. You've got to have different priorities in life and try to move forward in a positive direction. And, one thing that makes my channel so great, yes, I like to talk about music. Yes, I like to talk about guitars, but man, this is therapeutic for me. And this is therapeutic for everybody that tunes in. The shift in perspective that you need to have, the turning points. I mean, we're all going to have turning points in our life where we have to reevaluate what happiness means. And happiness is not always chasing the latest sparkly thing. You can't buy your way into happiness. It's a mental state. And, if you're experiencing burnout, you've got to make a change to, make better decisions in your life and, start realizing that material success and constant excitement don't necessarily lead to fulfillment. Now, material success is very hard to come by as a musician. It's like hitting the lottery. And we used to even talk about, imagine being a sideman in Nashville. And the average sideman gets an average salary and works his butt off. And there's no guarantees each year he gets called back. And that's the reality of that. But we used to call it, the redneck lottery back in the day, of the few guys that would get a gig where the artist would blow up and the artist would give these huge bonuses every year. And, I heard about people getting vehicles. They would, the artist would buy the band members vehicles each year, or a Harley, or different things like that. And we called it the redneck lottery. But that is few and far between. And even some of the big name artists don't do this. There were some that just paid average regular salary. And that's just what it was. It's just what it was. So, the material success doesn't always come. But the one thing that you do have in that lifestyle is constant excitement, at least every night that you're playing. And, but it doesn't necessarily lead to fulfillment. After every stage high is a stage low. And there are the bad nights where the performance doesn't go as expected, or something negative happens on stage, or somebody gets chewed out, or, something tragic happens. There can be tragedy happening, and these staging and all this stuff that goes on. Man, it can be a lot to deal with. So realizing that material success is probably not that likely, and the constant excitement, it doesn't necessarily lead you to fulfillment. What brings happiness now? It's the small, meaningful moments that bring you joy. I would often realize when I got home from the road that being home and having that peace and being able to sit on my own couch and just watch some TV and have some good food. Those were the simple things that made me happy. I started to yearn for that. I would go out and I just couldn't wait for the moment when I could get off that bus and go home. And it's those small, meaningful moments that bring you joy. Spending time with loved ones or family, or playing guitar for yourself. When you're having to play for thousands and thousands of people, well, there's a lot of expectation and there's a lot of pressure to play the same thing every night. But coming home and playing guitar for just the joy of playing guitar, not being a human jukebox, those are the quiet moments that can bring you true joy. And then enjoying the peace of a quiet day. These quiet moments when I film these videos every morning, this is sort of my moment of Zen. This is my moment of peace and chatting with all the great people that tune into my channel every morning at 8 a.m. We have our coffee and check on each other every morning. That is my moment of peace each day. And after that, I'm ready to conquer the day. After that, I'm ready for whatever comes. The importance of gratitude, presence, and contentment in everyday life. Don't underestimate that. That is huge. Be grateful for the things that you've experienced. Be grateful for where you are. Be present in the moment you're in. Realize the beauty of the moment you live in, and be content in everyday life. Let go of the noise. Stepping away from external validation, comparison, and the hustle mentality, it will allow you to focus on what truly matters. Simplify your life emotionally, mentally, and even physically. It'll open up the door to deeper happiness. My advice for people seeking this, take a moment to reflect on your definition of happiness. And I know it's slightly different for everybody. Some people like the quiet of solitude. Some people would like to have, a significant other. And consider whether chasing things, consider chasing only the things that bring you joy. Slow down in life. Find clarity. And focus on what matters most to you. Focus on those things only. Happiness isn't about achieving some perfect life. There is no such thing as a perfect life. It's about embracing the journey, cherishing the connections you have, and finding peace in the present moment. We're all learning and growing each day. And it's never too late to redefine happiness. It's so important that you realize that each moment you can make a choice to be happy or to be miserable. There is great joy in realizing that each moment in life is a gift. And each moment in life is something to cherish. Be thankful for each sunrise and be at peace with each sunset.